Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a beautiful Saturday afternoon of world-class thoroughbred action from Gulfstream Park. 12 races on the program here this afternoon. Track announcer Pete Aiello with DRF analyst Mike Welsh getting set to preview a big card of racing, Mike. $350,000 apiece for the two-year-olds, and some strong turf racing this afternoon with the two-year-olds taking to the turf as well.
Yeah, and with turf racing off in some places around the country, most notably up north in New York and Meadowlands tonight. We'll get our fill of grass racing today. It's the final day of the meet. Action's going to switch across town to Gulfstream Park West, which means we do have a mandatory payout in all the appropriate pools, including the Rainbow Six. So a lot of action here to go on our final day of the, whatever this meet is called, tropical.
I guess it's the summer season as far as we're concerned. But as you touched on, the Rainbow Six has to go today. $50,000 guaranteed by Gulfstream Park. But I think it's safe to say that that pool will get over the $100,000 mark here today with the force out. It's a very, very tough sequence in my view. We'll get into that in just a moment. But we have to go back to last Saturday's racing action and show you the big upset of last Saturday's feature race from the Marty Wolfson stable. Lilborn Eliza comes rolling down the center of the racetrack, shows a new dimension to win the Saturday feature last Saturday. You can see it there. On the outside, it's Lilborn Eliza tipped to the clear to get running. Angelica Zapata, the favorite, is just to her inside with Dunone on the outside. It was a wild scramble in the race. Thought Angelica Zapata is going to get up inside there, Mike, but Lilborn Eliza shows a new dimension and springs the upset.
Yeah, kind of surprised not only the bettors at 35-1, but surprised their own trainer, whose strategy was to put Lilborn Eliza on the lead to set up the other three closers he had in the lineup. Instead, she took back off the pace and outclosed her own stablemates and outclosed Angelica Zapata, like you said, to spring the upset at 35-1. So you just never know in this business. You know, you can sit there and handicap a race for hours and hours and hours, look for this kind of pace setup and that kind of pace setup. Even the trainers don't know what their own horses are going to do.
Well,
sometimes.
I think it's the old racetrack adage, study long, study wrong. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Speaking of studying, we did do some studying today, so let's move right into today's 12-race program. We kick it off on turf. These are $10,000 wide-open claimers. These are horses we've seen all summer long. Mike, you're going with the favorite. I just can't use him. He's off the layoff, and he's a two-time recent winner, Concert Stage.
Yeah, you know, she's a big question mark in here. You go back to her best races, this horse is going to win. You get Edgar Zayas. The one thing I do like about this horse is it looks like it could be Lone Speed as well. So I don't like the price. It's the best horse in the race. Looking for something sleeper, maybe Sky Blue Pink, going to throw out this one's last race, was just hauled back the last off a slow pace. Absolutely had no chance. Reunites with Luca Panici today, who finished second on this horse a couple of starts back. And if there is some an early challenge for Concert Stage, it might come from Arctic and Breeze. Maybe Sky Blue Pink can get back to its old form.
I absolutely agree with you. I used the 4 Jupiter on top in the race. Jupiter under Jesus Rios. He did not care for soft turf last time out. Moves back to a more firm surface. We have had some rain, but nothing like the last time Jupiter ran. I think he has a good chance to rebound if Concert Stage doesn't bring his A game, as you touched on. If he does, he'll win the race. Second race of the afternoon is the first leg of the 50-cent early pick 4. This is kind of an interesting sequence. I think there's a single in the early pick 4 later on the program. I think we agree with that. This race, for me, I really struggled to find anything past the top 2, and as you can see, we have the same top 3.
Yeah, I mean, Fancy's First might get loose on the lead, but she doesn't win very often. None of these win very often, actually, but this is she does, and she's beaten the same kind 2 starts in a row. New barn, off the claim, stays put in the right spot. Inside draws, should get a good trip in behind Fancy's First. She's the best horse in the race if she gets the trip. Nina's Memory, though, 2 starts back, a big non-win is a 3-win. This is a little tougher, open company. Just overmatched in her last start, so I think she's back in the right spot. So I go with those 2. This is she, Nina's Memory, and if you're looking for a third, then Fancy's First. Maybe if Speed's carrying today and she gets loose, she might get brave on the front end.
I agree, and I'm glad to see you agree with Nina's Memory. She'll be a nice price in that race. I think she figures to trip out well. Happy to see that both of us are against Let and Go, who I think probably goes favored off the claim for our leading jockey and leading trainer. I just don't think she trips out all that good in this race. As you touched on, Fancy's First wants the lead. Let and Go, when she does her best running, wants the lead, and I think Fancy's First faster than she is, so tactical disadvantage for the favorite in race number 2. Third race of the afternoon on turf, maiden claimers at the $12,500 level. These races are always tough. It's kind of a situation of who has recent form and what case can you make for some horses. I think the logical horse, as you would agree, is the 10-horse Sweet Paula. After that, you can get a little creative.
Yeah, nobody has much form in here except Sweet Paula. And dropping back down to 12.5 with this horse was pretty competitive. 3 starts back. Really, on paper, it's this horse's race to lose. Needs to only get a clean trip, and I think Sweet Paula will win at a short price. I threw River Rhythm in and See Dad. Both these horses obviously didn't like the wet track last time they get back to the turf, where they showed a semblance of form, and that's about the best you can say about the rest of this group. So Sweet Paula, to me, should probably win this race if it gets around clean.
And I think this is another situation, if you're playing the early pick 4, you either kind of take a stand with Sweet Paula and play a couple of cheap tickets multiple times, or you get really creative here, maybe buy the race. I thought 2 other horses had a shot at a big number. The 5 Boston Garden, big rider switch here from Francisco Masonette to the veteran Eduardo Nunez. Race 2 back on the turf is good enough to be competitive. And the 6-horse Transformer hasn't really shown much on the dirt sprinting, but do take note this horse started her career going long on the grass, and those races really aren't that bad. The price will be right. So either you take the favorite or you spread in today's third. Moving now to the 4th race. I don't think there's any spreading here. I know, Mike, you and I are on the same horse. I think this is your solid single of the afternoon. If you're playing pick 3s and pick 4s, I think the buck stops right here with the 3, Sylvia's Given Angel.
There's really no place else to go. I mean, Think of You will probably be in front, but she looks like she's better on grass than on dirt, and going a little shorter than 3/4 of a mile. After that, there's really not much to choose from. Roll It a Gal, some might have given a shot to, but she's out now. So, again, like the race before, looks like a standout on paper. We know what happens when you start looking at things that way, but Sylvia's Given Angel should be the right one in this race.
I think so. Solid single for me. Race number 5 on the card on the turf. Maidens at the 5-furlong journey. This is another race I didn't see anywhere around the top 2 in the race, but I'm happy to see Mike Welsh did see something that I didn't see. So go ahead and talk about your top plays in the race.
Artie Babe is an interesting horse. I thought this horse's first start and only start was a lot better than it might look on paper. If you go back and watch the replay of the race, this horse checked at the break, came wide with some run into the stretch, raced greenly, lugged in, and beat half the field. I thought it was a good effort, and I'm going to give this horse a second chance with a little bit better trip. Maybe it'll learn a little bit from that first race and keep a straighter course, avoid some trouble at the start. A lot of question marks in here, though. You have 2 horses from the barn, if I'll let you pronounce it, Ignacio Roncasio.
I think we
2 first-time starters coming out of Ocala with workouts on the farm. Really have no clue what these horses are all about. Just watch the tote board here. I have no clue what the barn is all about. I have no clue what these, the workouts really are meaningless off the farm there. So good luck with that. Rose Graciello, another first-time starter in here. At least has shown some speed in the morning at Calder. A couple of 36 3/8 moves out of the gate, which means this horse might have a little early gas. So I threw that horse in as well. But big question marks in here with a lot of first-time starters, a lot of unknown quantities.
Well, we can tell you that Ignacio Roncasio, from the best we've discovered, is Colombian-based, and he'll be making his transition to South Florida. We've seen that with a couple of folks from Puerto Rico. Of course, Gustavo Delgado came from South America and has done very well. So the jury's still out, but the Colombian invader, Ignacio Roncasio, you'll see more of him both this afternoon and next week at Gulfstream West. Race 6 on the program, 6 furlongs the journey. We dropped to the maiden $50,000 level. I don't know, Mike, for me, if this was the other free square of the afternoon, especially finding out from the connections that it was not a situation of jockey hopscotch. They elected to change riders on the 4, deep consideration.
Yeah, a lot of things to like about this horse. First time for a tag. Blew out really well with wore blinkers last time, ran well with blinkers, improved, blew out really well with blinkers on. The only negative might be the horse has already been beaten twice as a short price, and it's going to be a short price again here. But I think this race just sets up for him. Again, you have the one first-time starter from Ignacio Roncasio, or whatever his name is.
You got it.
So that's a question mark there you don't really know about. But other than that, deep consideration should be too good for these. Papa Upa will probably improve off his first race, showed some speed, and was bet in the first time out. So there might be a little more than this horse than the first race would show. But I'm going to go with the 4, that the 2 is the horse to beat. And again, big question mark. If the money shows on the 5, you might want to throw him in.
Well, I don't want to pile on, so to speak, but deep consideration, here's something for you to consider. Second in the debut behind Tiscano, who at the time was the best buyer of any 2-year-old in the country, then ran second to Jaden's Best, who's 4th choice on the morning line in one of our feature races, and then was 3rd last time behind Hear That Tune and Honor Earned. They're both in the feature. So when you talk about taking a big drop from the maiden special weight to the maiden claiming ranks, you're talking about it times 3 with deep consideration, because he's keeping very good company so far in his racing career.
You also have to factor in, too, that the Ralph Nix barn has been on a roll of late, too. They're winning at a pretty high percentage, so you like that angle as well.
Well, if you're playing today's Rainbow Six, you'll start it off with race number 7. It's a 20-cent minimum wager, and this is one of the co-features. This is the My Dear Girl division of the Florida Stallion Stakes, $350,000 on the line. Mike, I know that I picked Leap Your Luck figuring that she would love the 2-turn angle. You left her off your play. You see a lot more of the morning activity than I do around here. I wondered if there was not something there that caught your eye, or if it was just that horses in the morning are working better than Leap Your Luck.
Well, partially that. I'm not saying Leap Your Luck's not working well. You know what? This whole group, I think, is kind of on the weak side for this stake. I almost put Free Flying on top, looking for a stranger to this category, because the Susan's Girl really graded out pretty slow, and Free Flying looks improved. Last time out with blinkers. She will have to overcome the outside post, which is a bit of a disadvantage at this distance. But instead, I went for Moment of Delight, partly because of the way she blew out for the race. 5/8 of a mile workout last time was excellent. I liked the way she finished, and she looked good in the morning. She also finished best of all in the Susan's Girl. She was on her left lead. She was a little bit green. I'm hoping with the work under her belt, that race under her belt, she looks like she might stretch the 2 turns. I gave her a shaky edge. Hollywell probably going to be might be the favorite off that last victory. Remains to be seen. This horse is going to be in front for sure. I almost guarantee it today. From the inside, it's an advantageous post. Last time, worked very fast. Horse went 33 and change for the first 3/8 of a mile in that workout last time. Almost too fast. It was kind of a backwards work. I don't like to see that. But obviously charged up. And from the rail, you got to go. So Hollywell's my second pick. Free Flying third. Leap Your Luck, you got to respect.
Well,
anything Stanley Gold runs out there in these races.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at the Susan's Girl division so you can kind of get a gauge on what a lot of these fillies have been doing lately. As you touched on, Mike, the final furlong in this race comes home at 14-4, so they're not exactly flying as they come home. Let's take a look at it on your TV monitors. You're looking at Awesome Ice. You're looking at Moment of Delight. You're looking at Holywell. Holywell's the 9. She's under the whip ride in the yellow cap. That's Awesome Ice trying to weave through traffic in the Jacks Are Better colors. Leap Your Luck swinging wide for the drive. She's 6 wide as they turn for home. Again, they went 45-4, but they came home awful slow, so some of this might be a little bit of optical illusion in terms of horses making up ground, just trying to catch Holywell, who by rights
and that's
was
Moment
very
of Delight
tired.
in the yellow silks. And if you see, she's on her left lead there. She's kind of striding a little bit awkwardly. She was getting to Holywell. Give Holywell credit. She went through that 45-4 opening quarter mile and a half mile and still had enough left to hold on at the end. So, you know, props for her. I mean, the race was run slow late, but she did all the running, so you got to give her upgrade her a little bit for that too. So I think this is a pretty open race. It's an open category. You got young horses stretching out 2 turns for the first time. It's kind of a crapshoot.
Well, the thing about it, that for me, the handicapping the mile and a 16th races here at Gulfstream, you know, figuring that these horses are going to try to get 2 turns for the first time, I'd like to take a horse, and I did, Leap Your Luck, to come from well off it. But from a course perspective and a tactical perspective, the mile and a 16th races here at Gulfstream don't lend themselves to deep, deep closers. So that kind of throws a wrench in the works there as well. So I think it's a very wide open race. It's race number 7, and it kicks off today's Rainbow Six. 8th race on the program, one of 2 races for 2-year-olds on the turf at 1 mile. This is the Armed Forces for 2-year-old males. I thought this race was pretty tough. I ended up on a horse that was very impressive at the 1-turn journey, an Elusive Stamp, but there's a lot of ways to go in here.
Well, my problem with Elusive Stamp, and I agree, this horse was extremely impressive first time out. She was on the lead that day. She's got a lot of speed. She's going to try to go a mile. She's got Big Distinction breaking right outside her. Big Distinction's also coming off showing a lot of speed in a 5-furlong race, so they could wind up running into each other early. Purple Smoke will also have speed, so I kind of look for a horse that's going to sit off it. I tried Hubba Shake. This horse is on the improve, has some breeding for the turf. It's a half to Powhatan County, who's graded stakes placed on the grass. It's Marty Wilson's barn, and this horse looks like he'll appreciate the added distance. So Hubba Shake was my top pick in here. I think you're going to see a lot of money, obviously, for Touchdown Kitten, for Wesley Ward, the Gramsci connection by Kitten's Joy. This horse has already won going 2 turns on the grass here at Gulfstream. Looks like a fast pace will play right into this one's hands, too. So logical there, but I just took a shot at a little bit of a price with Marty and Hubby hoping that there will be a little bit of speed duel up front.
Well, it also should be noted that trainer Wesley Ward brings his go-to rider to town, Rafael Hernandez. And for those of you not familiar with Rafael Hernandez, he dominated the standings in St. Louis at Fairmount Park, but he's also been riding at Saratoga, Kentucky Downs, and pretty much anywhere else that Wesley Ward is sending horses these days. He's a very, very good rider, and his riding strength is turf. Yeah, so you should take note of that with number 7, Touchdown Kitten. Only other horse to note, maybe the 11, the Big Mystery. I like the way he won when he went 2 turns on the grass. As you touched on, Mike, you got a lot of horses in here that haven't tried 2 turns. Try to go with the ones that you think can handle it or have already proven that they can handle it.
Rafael Hernandez, too, I think is going to stay here throughout the winter. He's kind of Wesley's newest jockey discovery, and I think he's going to be here full time. If not throughout the Gulfstream West meet, I believe, when we get back here for sure this winter.
I hope so, for my sake. I think he's a heck of a good rider. 9th race on the program starts the 50-cent late pick 4. This race is a maiden special weight at 7 furlongs. I have one word written at the top of my form, impossible. But as per usual with guys like us, you know, they call us the wise guys for a reason. This is a very, very contentious race, and we come up with the same top 3.
Well, I think Express Jet's very logical. I mean, the horse ran a 73 buyer, just got beat, 6 furlongs, a logical progression going to 7/8. That's a pretty good number for a maiden 6 furlongs around here, buyer-wise, and she should improve, or he should improve off that race. So he's very logical. He's probably going to be somewhere around 6-5 or 7-5. Dance of Freedom, I mentioned before that Hollywood went 33 and change, and then finished a fast 5/8, got a little tired at the end of that work. This was his workmate, or her workmate, Dance of Freedom. So this horse is very fast. Went 33 and change, right with Hollywell in that work. Got tired with Hollywell the same way. So 7/8 scares me. I'd like this horse a little bit better if this race was 5.5 or 6. 7/8 is a tricky distance for first-time starters. The same can apply for Tiger of Wales, who's also worked well, not as fast as Dance of Freedom, but steadily, a lot of steady 5/8 works, and trainer Mike Maker, very good with first-time starters, a much better than average a record with first-timers. So I think those two could come into play here for sure. But Express Jet, I put him on top because he just looks as the most logical one.
Well, I'm glad to hear that dope out on Dance of Freedom. I kind of picked her on the strength that I would hear something like that from you. I like Orlando Boca Chica on the lead as well. So if the price is right and you can afford to spread, definitely a race you want to try to consider a couple of nice horses.
My equipment here.
10th race of the afternoon as Mike tries to fix his microphone as the Ardere Peg Stakes. This is the 2-year-old filly division on turf at 1 mile, and this is a race that I'm really excited to see. We're going to take a look at a replay from a filly that has been so impressive, and this is her last race. Akati's Phaeton last time out. She just draws away. Now, I don't know what she drew away from. I'll grant you that. But I want you to go back, if you do have time, fans, and watch her debut run. The one thing about Akati's Phaeton, she's showing speed both at the 6-furlong journey the last 2 times that she ran, but she doesn't need the lead. I can trust me when I tell you from the binoculars looking at this horse, she is very professional, and she'll do whatever jockey Juan Leyva wants her to do. I think she's a very talented filly, and I'm looking forward to seeing how she takes it to 2 turns today.
Yeah, I agree with you. This one is definitely the one to beat. The stretch is a bit of a question, but I think she'll handle it. The speed, that's the only thing in here, the speed. There are 3 speed horses in here, and I actually took one of the other ones, and I see you did too. Hangover Saturday is also going to have speed going back to the turf. Just toss a race in the Susan's Girl. Got bothered at the start, never got into the race. Really wants grass, it looks like. So it'll be interesting to see how jockey Jose Valdivia and Juan Leyva play this one early. You also have exit strategy on the rail that has some speed. So tactically, that'll be probably the key to this race. I took Hangover Saturday because it's going to be a little bit bigger price than Akati's Phaeton. And if they do get hung up on a duel and this one backs up, you got to worry about, obviously, Navajo Kitten and Red Sachet. They benefited from a fast pace last time and dead heated for a win. They have the experience around 2 turns. They've proven they can handle grass. They're logical plays. They're both probably going to get some action. They're both from good barns. So it's an interesting race. Again, I just took a little shot when hanging up this Saturday, but a caddy's fate, and if she can rate and avoid a speed duel, she's definitely the one to beat.
Well, I think she can. That's the gamble in race 10. The 11th race is the feature race of the afternoon, the in-reality division of the Florida Sire Stakes. 2-year-old males taking around 2 turns. A full field of 12 here. This is a little bit more competitive than it looks on paper, and I think it's a very tough race, and I see, Mike, you're going with a maiden on top.
I just took a shot in here. You know, I thought Saraguero, first race was good, came back and has worked extremely well, bred to go 2 turns, in a good position post-wise with the short run to the first turn. So I said, why not? Why not take a shot on a horse that might pay $45? Look, I know it's a maiden against winners, but in this kind of a race, these restricted state-bred races, you see this happen a lot, that maidens do win these races. So I took a shot with Saraguero, 225A, strictly the one to beat, 2 for 2, looked great, timed the move perfectly to run down Sing Praises last time in the Affirm. The inside post, a big advantage, should get a perfect trip just sitting off the speed on the rail, and he's definitely the one to beat.
Well, let's take a look at that race. We do have that race queued up for you. Sing Praises and 225A. This is the Affirm division of the Florida Sire Stakes. 225A is in the yellow cap on the outside, and that's Sing Praises, who appears at this point in time to put the field away. But 225A and Abdi El Hayyan just continue at that one grinded out type pace, and as you can see, Sing Praises gets very late in the late stages, and 225A runs him down.
Sing Praises is going to get loose in here again, I'm sure. I don't think anyone who wants to try to run with this horse, you'll have no chance anyone that runs with him. And who knows, maybe if he relaxes a little bit more on the lead going 2 turns, some horses will do that. They'll go 2 turns better than they will 7/8 because of that ability to relax a lot longer. But even his trainer, Stanley Gold, admits he's not sure if this horse is going to get the distance. I know he thinks 225A will. So do I. The interesting horse in here is the maiden Royal Squeeze for Chad Brown. If this horse was inside, I'd have definitely picked him 1-2. But post 12, going a mile in the 16th is a real disadvantage here. I think they're going to try to send him out of there and try to avoid trouble on that first turn and get some position. If he gets hung out wide, he's dead. If he can scoot out, break well, and get position, I think this horse has experience around 2 turns. The only one in the field that can say that. That's a big advantage. He's also got Chad Brown. That's a pretty good advantage, too. So the key to Royal Squeeze is to run around the first turn, but this is another maiden who I think has a chance to upset this race.
And his mother, Mop Squeezer, was the South Florida Stakes winner, Shocker T handicap winner a few years back, so 2 turns shouldn't be a problem there. 12th and final race as we close out the 2014 summer season. These are $6,250 claimers. This race at a mile and a 16th as well. I went with number 6, Fear the Beard, but I agree with Mike. I think it's 2-6 or 6-2 in here. Also, Whiskey Tap on top for you.
Whiskey Tap drops down, back to dirt, worked well, gets the triple bug, so gets a weight allowance. A lot of things to like, an inside post. 8-1 morning line. Give me 3-1, 7-2 right now. I'll take it.
Sounds good to me. I'll use the 3 Ben's Best Bet in my multi-leg exotics as well. It's part of a 12-race program that is the Saturday afternoon card at Gulfstream Park. We're now 31 minutes away from a big afternoon of racing. Track announcer Pete Aiello, and my thanks to DRF analyst Mike Welsh. That's a look at today's Saturday program. Pick 6 on the prowl here this afternoon. Pick 5 and Super High 5 Force out. Enjoy your afternoon with us, and good luck today.
Good luck, everybody.